Hello there, fellow cultists. This is DM Nell, and I'm back with another episode of Shadow Talk. What episode this is, I don't know off the top of my head. I will find out shortly. I want to say it's 122, but I could be off on my count. I don't know, but at any rate, um, it's been a couple weeks since I had my last video, and I wanted to come back and catch up. So that's what I'm doing here. And let's see. No, not finding 120, 121. Yeah, 122. Guess that's it. All right, so episode 122. And wanted to talk about today some news first, and then I'll get into my main topic, which is science. I'll explain what I mean in a little bit. All right, so let's see here. First of all, on the Schwalb Entertainment website, we've got an announcement here, which is the Schwalb Entertainment announces When the Wolf Comes, a Norse-themed RPG with a sci-fi twist. So this was a Kickstarter that happened last summer, I believe. And it looks like it's getting ready to actually be released. And so let's see here. I don't know much about this, but it looks like it is When the Wolf Comes is set in a pagan present, an alternative timeline where Christianity has been put to the Viking sword, and history as we know it has been thrown to the wolves. The game was successfully kickstarted in August 2022. There we go. But suffered several unexpected delays. Schwalb swooped in to ensure the project was back on track and in the hands of fans. Schwalb said the Norse setting is so timeless. It really is the wellspring of all modern fantasy. I love the way the Viking verse setting takes archetypes we know and love and strips them back to their pre-Tolkien origins. Who doesn't want to unleash their inner Viking? I'd suggest that the future is bright, but that's what the trickster gods and demon lord always say. So let's see here. When the Wolf Comes is a game of storytelling, heroism, and epic struggle set during a reimagined Norse end of days. A complete tabletop role-playing game in one 400 pages, hardcover book. When the Wolf Comes provides you everything you need to create and play characters, form war bands in pursuit of fame and plunder, and tell sci-fi sagas with your friends. The book also gives game masters all the tools they need to create adventures, a bestiary full of deadly creatures, a detailed history of the... I'm not even going to attempt that. And extensive advice to help run the game. Coming soon on DriveThruRPG. Okay, so Norse mythology. Looks like it's got some sci-fi elements and demon lord. So sounds like a pretty interesting combination. I did not participate in this particular Kickstarter. It was unfortunately during a time where I was not paying too close attention to such things, and it came and went without my seeing it. So I will probably pick this up when I happen to run across it at my local gaming shop. If indeed my local gaming shop will have it. Otherwise, I may have to pick up the PDF on DriveThruRPG. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. That is a Demon Lord related topic. So there you go. So that is the first bit of news I wanted to share. The second bit of news I expected to see on the website, but it's not on here. It was, however, on, I don't know if it was Facebook or Twitter. I think it was Facebook, where Robert Schwalb had indicated that he is going to push back the launch date for the Shadow the Weird Wizard Kickstarter. And the reason for that is due to a lot of chaos that's going on in his personal life. And it is not a good time to manage something as labor intensive as a Kickstarter. the Kickstarter was supposed to be launched on June 1st, I want to say, at least the first part of June. But now it's being pushed back, and I don't know. I can't remember if he gave a date or a general time frame. I want to say he's pushing it back until fall, but I don't know that for sure. But regardless, the point is that the Shadow of the Weird Wizard, if you were looking forward to the Kickstarter, it is being pushed back, and I actually think that's a good thing. The reason I think it's a good thing is because there's kind of a glut of RPGs that are being kickstarted right now or are wrapping up some kickstarting right now. And so it's not really a great time to launch another Kickstarter for another fantasy RPG. I think putting a little bit of distance between, Shadow of the Weird Wizard and some competition is always a good idea. And so what competition am I talking about? Well, so first of all, Shadow Dark wrapped up its Kickstarter last month, and so that Kickstarter went gangbusters, and earned over $1 million. And so that's a fantasy RPG, and it's a dark fantasy. So and it has the word shadow in it. So you don't want really confusion with Shadow of the Weird Wizard. So I would definitely say put some distance between Shadow Dark and Shadow of the Weird Wizard. But the one that I'm mainly concerned about is the one that's being, the Kickstarter that's being launched, I believe in June, by Kobold Press. And that is for Tales of the Valiant. That's their version of the 5e rule set. And the reason I'm more concerned about that is because Kobold Press has a pretty big footprint in the TTRPG space. And their Kickstarter is most likely going to garner a lot of attention, and it is also likely to overshadow, pun not intended, a smaller Kickstarter such as Shadow of the Weird Wizard. And I think Shadow of the Weird Wizard is going to appeal to the Shadow of the Demon Lord folks. That'll be what am I trying to say here? The Shadow of the Demon Lord folks are going to know about Shadow of the Weird Wizard because of the communication, my videos and stuff on the website and Schwab Entertainment and Facebook. But as far as being popularized elsewhere, it's not going to get the same kind of attention as Tales of the Valiant. So you definitely don't need that type of competition when you're rolling out your own game. And not that they're going to be similar. I mean, in reality, Tales of the Valiant is just going to be another version of 5e, whereas Shadow of the Weird Wizard is its own separate game. But they're still fantasy RPGs, therefore, it's just best to put some distance between Tales of the Valiant Kickstarter and Shadow of the Weird Wizard. So I think it's a good thing. Hopefully there won't be a whole lot more. My fear is other competitors like MCDM. Anyway, Matt Colville's company is going to be producing their own version of D&D. And they're eventually going to do a Kickstarter for that, and you definitely don't want to compete with Matt Colville. Who else? I mean, it just seems like there's tons of companies that are putting out these versions of 5e that are really just going to cause a glut, I think, in the TTRPG space, making games like Shadow of the Weird Wizard, which is already a niche game, even more isolated and more difficult to get out there in the open. So I think it's a good thing pushing out Shadow of the Weird Wizard. So it's terrible that Schwab is going through all the stuff that he's going through in his personal life. That sucks. But maybe it was if there's a silver lining in all of it, maybe it is for the better, for purposes of his the future of his business. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. So another thing that is in the news is, I mentioned a couple of videos ago that the Shadow of the Demon Lord Compendia was released on DriveThruRPG. That was the core rulebook rule set for the Foundry Virtual Tabletop. So, I picked it up. It looks great. Haven't used it yet. Excuse me. I got some kind of weird thing going on in here, so bear with me a moment. Okay. So, Shadow of the Demon Lord Compendia. The first one that was released was the core rulebook, and it had pretty much everything in the core rulebook. And so the second release here is for Shadow of the Demon Lord's Companion, for Foundry VTT. Now, I haven't used the first one. I did buy it. I did download it into Foundry, and I've looked through it. It looks great. And now there's the Demon Lord's Companion, which I think is a must-have. Is definitely a must-have because it gives you the 2 additional ancestries of Fawn and Halfling. It gives you an additional 6 expert paths, including the Psychic and the Mountebank. A dozen master paths, such as the Blackguard and Martial Artist. It also includes things like alchemical weapons, forbidden items, marvels of engineering, which we'll be talking about more in a little bit, and new potions. There's also rules for creating gear and for using vehicles, alchemy, demonology, telekinesis, and more new traditions of magic, magical places, relics, new creatures, and more. So the Demon Lord's Companion is definitely a must-have. If you have Foundry VTT and you already purchased the Demon Lord Compendia, this is a natural follow-up for that. I haven't purchased it yet myself. I got it in my cart, but I just haven't purchased it. I haven't had really much time to play with this stuff. So, but I definitely intend to do that. So there you go. That is a big piece of news right there. And one of these days I'm going to get around to downloading it, and then I'll probably make a video just kind of going through Foundry with the new with those two modules. Okay, so let's see what else is out there in the news. Let's see, we got that. I think that's about it as far as the major Shadow news. So I guess we can go on to the main topic. So the main topic I wanted to discuss today is science, and in particular, a new novice path that was released, the scientific method. This is an odd choice for Shadow of the Demon Lord, but I like it because it is an odd choice and it's different than a lot of the other stuff that has been produced for the game. And, at this point, Shadow of the Demon Lord is getting a bit long in the tooth. It's been around since 2014, almost 10 years. It needs some fresh and some different content if we're going to keep it alive and thriving. And so this is an interesting way to go. So this is a new novice path. Now, as you know, there's not a whole lot of novice paths. There's the 4 that you'll find in the core rulebook. And then there is a warrior supplement that provides variations on the warrior novice path. And I think that's it. Can't think of any more off the top of my head. I may be missing something, but this is another novice path. And this novice path is the scientist. So, as you know, Shadow of the Demon Lord, you should know by now after watching 122 of my videos, Shadow of the Demon Lord has it's a kind of a genre mashup. It has fantasy, it has horror, it has some steampunk elements. You can go a lot of different ways with Shadow of the Demon Lord. It's got that Fae component, so you could do a Grimm's Fairy Tale version of the game if you wanted to. Heck, I even have toyed with having a Wild West version of Shadow of the Demon Lord, which I'm going to make a video about one of these days. I think I've mentioned it before, but yeah, I take a portion of the map of Rule, which is in the northern reach, in the West Hold and that area surrounding the West Hold, and that is my wild west setting for Shadow of the Demon Lord. But anyway, you can do a lot of stuff with this setting, and you can do a lot of stuff with this game. And so the scientific method is just another way that you can, add a little bit of genre mashups to a game that is already, it's got a lot of ways to do that already. Okay, so what do we have here? So let's see. Your mind is destined for greatness and has no need of words of power that mages in their ilk rely on. All you need is your brains, some elbow grease, a lot of time, and much needed funding. The scientific method introduces the scientist as an optional novice path. All great institutions on Earth study the sciences in some form or fashion, but the studies have largely melded with technomancy and alchemy, and with many places teaching courses on both. From the steam-powered trains that run in the northern reaches, often augmented with technomancy to function properly, to the flying ships that traverse the great distances. To ignore the scientific aspects to many of Rule's important devices is seen as folly to those with a mind for science. So this supplement comes courtesy of Ronnie Anderson, Patrick Bloom, Adrian Beeler, and Robert Schwab, of course. Players here as far as Schwab doing the lion's share of work. Editing and proofreading by Jay Spite, layout by Kara Hamilton, and illustrations by Jack Kaiser. All right, so what does a scientist provide us? Well, let's see. Erudition provides scientists with all they need to tackle the challenges in their path. Grounded in secular theory and thought, rejecting the occult, scientists attack problems with a combination of cunning, learnedness, and determination to unravel the mysteries before them. The further they progress their training, the more they learn, and the greater the wonders they can create. Scientists come from academic backgrounds which help reflect their education and training in higher learning. Some, though, might have taught themselves, such as a criminal with ideas about building devices, to carry out heists, or soldiers who study engineering to build war machines. Scientists can even come from the ranks of the religious. They might commit themselves to serving the gods, but also see it as their duty to gain a better understanding of the world. So what does a first level, or what does a scientist look like? So at first level, you increase 2 attributes by 2. You gain health plus 3. Languages and professions. You read and write all the languages you speak, and you add 1 academic area of knowledge to your choice. Applied academics. When a creature within short range makes an attack roll or a challenge roll, you can use a triggered action to either grant 1 boon or impose 1 bane on the triggering roll. If you grant a boon to an attack roll, and the total of the roll is 20 or higher, the creature deals an extra 2d6 damage. So that's a pretty darn good support feature there. Recovered secrets. You can use an action to heal damage equal to your healing rate. Then, until the end of the round, each creature you choose within short range makes attack rolls and challenge rolls with 1 boon. Nice. Once you use this talent, you can't use it again until you complete a rest. All right. Level 2, Scientist, health plus 3. Eureka! Whenever the total of your attack roll or challenge roll in combat is 20 or higher, you make the intellect and will challenge rolls with 1 boon for 1 minute. 1 minute. If you already benefit from this effect, when you benefit from this talent again, you instead extend the effect's duration by 1 minute. And then we have scientific innovation. Choose 1 science from the options presented. So scientific innovations are listed over here under the sciences, which we will get to here momentarily. Level 5, expert scientist, health plus 3. Add 1 area, academic area of knowledge. Choose 1 science from the options presented. Sudden solution. If you benefit from your Eureka talent and you get a failure on an attack roll or challenge roll, you can end the effect of your Eureka talent to turn the failure into a success. Okay, then we have level 8, Master Scientist, health plus 3. You add 1 academic area of knowledge to your choice. Choose 1 science from the options presented. All right, so the scientific innovations seem to be the big features. So let's just take a look at them. So, of course, there's always a scientist training table here. If you don't want to make it up yourself, you can let the table decide. The sciences. Scientific innovation follows numerous routes and covers nearly every aspect of the physical and metaphysical world. The following sciences represent those most likely to be adopted by a scientist. Each time you gain a science from the scientist novice path, you can choose one science and gain one benefit for doing so. Each time you choose the same science after the first, you gain another benefit from it. Also, many benefits improve as your group attains higher level. All right, so the first science that's talked about here is botany. Botany reveals knowledge of plants and similar living organisms found in the world. You study botany offers you ways to manipulate plants, fungi, slimes, and other things to serve your interests and needs. When you choose a science, you gain an alchemy kit, if you don't already have one. If you lose your kit, you can replace it for free after the adventure ends. In addition, each time you choose the science, gain one of the following benefits. Defoliant, you discover a potent poison useful for clearing away plants and similar matter. So that is that. Fertilizer, you concoct a strong fertilizer that makes plants grow at a rapid rate and gain unusual qualities. When you complete a rest, while you have an alchemist kit, you can produce a number of doses of fertilizer equal to 1 plus half your level. The doses retain potency until used, or you complete another rest. Okay, so fertilizer does stuff. And then there's a fertilizer result table. I'm not going to read through all that. Herbal concoctions. You learn how to create special substances from herbs you find. When you complete a rest in the wilderness zone, while you have an alchemist kit, you produce a number of herbal concoctions equals to 1 plus half your level that retain potency until used, or you complete another rest. For each herbal concoction you produce, choose one of the following options. As an action, creature holding a concoction can consume it, or blah, blah, blah. Okay, so botanical infusion, herbal remedy, herbal stimulant. So herbal remedy looks like it heals damage. Herbal stimulant gives you, looks like bonuses for your strength challenge rolls. Well, maybe not. On the creature's next turn, it can increase the number. Oh, it increases actions. Wow. It can increase the number of actions it can use by 1. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's definitely an interesting support option. All right, chemistry. In tackling chemistry, you explore the nature of substances and discover how the interactions of certain chemicals can produce useful explosive results or substances that can enhance or befuddle the people around you. So you can, I guess you can create corrosives and poisons, chemical acid, chemical drug, chemical poison, or explosions, or pharmaceuticals like a health booster, strength booster, or speed booster. This is definitely sounding like a pretty darn good support role. Entomology focuses your study on learning everything there is to know about insects and similar creatures. So you can control swarm, make giant insects, poison spray. Then you got geology. Let's see here. Looks like you can create a small construct, a medium construct, a large construct. In addition, what servant can normally do, you can use an action to give the construct. Okay, so basically it looks like the geology is to make a like an earth or some form of construct to be your servant and maybe even your bodyguard. Okay, then you can learn metaphysics, exploring the mysteries of time and space and the underpinnings of reality. Let's see, so you can create a gravity coil with a gravity pulse or a low gravity or strong gravity effects. A lightning dynamo, so this would be like the Tesla option, I guess. Wormhole projector, That sounds pretty cool. Then you got the physiology science, which is studying the humanoid form. Cosmetology, to make beautify, disguise, or malform. Creature identification. Medical treatment. Then you got the science of psychology, all about the mind. So you got counseling, encouragement, and fear confrontation. Then you have technology, which includes ballistics, builder, machinery. Then we have zoology, which is science of animals, which you can use to enhance animals, giving them things like growth, regenerating, speed, and toxic. And they have animal handling and animal training. And that's it for the sciences. So, this sounds like a pretty darn good support role. It doesn't look like it's much of a, it doesn't look like it does a whole lot from an offensive perspective, unless it is, you pick up those sciences that provide you the construct or the giant insects or, those other things that are under your control. But yeah. So there you go. Scientific method, novice path. Definitely different. If you've tried all the novice paths and you're just wanting something different, this might be for you. So check it out. Now, I would suggest, if you're going to run a game and you're going to have a player that is taking the scientific path, then you really need to go back and do your homework on all of the sciences that are provided to you in Shadow of the Demon Lord, so that this guy's not feeling that the player of the scientist is not feeling like they're out in left field, and they're not being really supported through gameplay with all the various things that a scientist could potentially interact with. So the first thing I would recommend is refreshing yourself on the dungeon or the Demon Lord's Companion, particularly the chapters on equipment pertaining to alchemical items, forbidden items, potions, and marvels of engineering in particular. All of those things would be kind of science related, and so I would definitely refresh myself on these and provide these types of things in your games to ensure that your scientists can maximize their contribution to the game. This Demon Lord Companion, of course, also has vehicles, so your scientist could provide or lend a hand with things such as an airship or a locomotive. And so I would definitely brush up on that chapter as well, or that same chapter. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is paths of science. So I talked about this in another video, but it's worth mentioning here again because this goes right along with the scientist. If I were a player of the scientist, I would want to continue that progression through paths of science. So this supplement here gives you various expert options for your characters. So you can become a biologist, a gunsmith, or a maker of monsters, or a plague doctor. Now, who wouldn't want a plague doctor? I mean, come on. The Beak, really? Come on. I want to play a plague doctor. I'm just saying. It's the coolest thing. Just the mask by itself is cool. All right, so Reanimator. Okay, so, Lovecraft fans, that horrible 80s Reanimator movie, you've already got your archetype right there. Reanimator is a master path. And so this, scientist, novice path, plague doctor, expert path, reanimator, master path. It's gold, baby. That is gold. So there you go. So definitely pick up this supplement if you haven't already. This is again Paths of Science. All this stuff is available on DriveThruRPG, and it's cheap. So you can pick this stuff up for cheap out there, and your players will love you for it. The last supplement that I would recommend reviewing again is Insupposable Instruments. It's another supplement. It's been out for a while. You may have forgotten about it, but this supplement focuses on, again, alchemical items and shrink it up a little bit here. Forbidden items and potions, adventuring gear and tools, and marvels of engineering. So marvels of engineering are probably, the coolest thing that you could bring in for your scientists, because that right there, those are items that were made with science. They don't rely on magic, maybe a little bit, but they don't rely on magic. They're pure science. You need to include marvels of engineering in your game if you're going to have a scientist. Then animal companions. One of your scientists was zoology. You need animals, so here you go. You got a list of animals here. Everything from a black bear to a ferret to a llama to a rattlesnake, porcupine, all that stuff's there. Animal gear, there you go. Vehicles is in the supplement as well. Property, these are all very interesting and useful things to have for your Shadow the Demon Lord game. You can even create a business if you want to. All right, so these are all in Insupposable Instruments. So if you want a science-based game, those are what I would recommend picking up for that brave player that wants to play a scientist. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. I just wanted to highlight this because it's so unusual, and I definitely love it when game designers experiment with weird stuff with their games. I think once again, I think Shadow the Demon Lord lends itself extremely well to various genres and genre mashups, and this fits in perfectly with even with just the core setting with rule. Fits right in. You've got places where a scientist could come from with the various universities that are found throughout the core setting. So I'm telling you, this is good shit, and definitely something new to try out for Shadow the Demon Lord. So anyway, I hope you like this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you hated it, give me a subscription. That'd be great. For free. I mean, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, and then whenever I post a video, it shows up in your feed for free. That's cool, right? So there you go. Just do that, and whenever I make a video, you'll be alerted if you hit that bell icon. So there's that. But anyway, so yeah, do all those things, and I'll be part of your life forever, because everybody needs me in their life. So there you go. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Hail the Demon Lord. I'm out of here. If I can figure out how to turn this damn thing off.